Thanks a lot to the minds behind this. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks to SEREDEMS Africa for a job well done. Yes, as introduced, I work with the PTCIJ, and we have a fact-checking platform called Dubawa, which is basically a Hausa word for check it. Dubawa is, what we do at PTCIJ is we try to innovate around the media. Journalism is growing, tech is disrupting, and every profession has to grow and innovate and make sure that we are with the times and in touch with the needs of our populace. So we try to make sure we always think around, we try to act like a think tank and make sure we think around the solutions to our society's problems from the perspective of the media and what the media is supposed to do. And with this, when we encountered the problem of information disorder, we decided to follow, of course, the footsteps of people like Africa Check, who were the first fact-checking organization in Africa to set up one in Nigeria to deal with the information disorder problem here. And we've been doing that for a few years now. We believe our democracy, we have a philosophy in-house that our democracy is just as strong as our media and vice versa.
Mr. Adedeji, I just make you a host. You can now, you have your...
Yeah, my screen. Okay, thank you. All right, okay. So like I said, we believe our democracy is just as strong as the media and vice versa. And we intend to strengthen the media to ensure that every aspect of society is well reported and well documented for development. I have a few thoughts here. I have just 15 minutes, and I am going to have to just cram as much as I can into this. I have a few, maybe 2 or 3 slides I might share, but I think the best thing I can do in such a short time is to push out the idea behind what it means to deal with information online and to deal with things that might rise up, since we're also talking in the context of protests and governance. So first of all, the prof just spoke about the need for good governance. Protests won't arrive if governance was in play. So we need to ensure that that is a focus. Secondly, like I said, journalism has to grow, it has to improve. As much as there's a lot of unfair criticism on the media, there is a lot of justified criticism of the media. And as part of the media, if you don't recognize a problem, you can't solve it. So, and one of the ways is to improve our funding, improve our crafts, and expand to more varied types of journalism, whether it's solutions journalism, data, or fact-checking journalism. We need to up our game. We also have to make sure that there's of course the bridge between the academia and the practice, and this is throwing this to academia because we have a lot of academia involved here. We need to, of course, have some more flexibility in our curricula, so people can grow with speed. It's our process for curriculum for adjusting our curricula is quite slow and rigid, and I think that discussion has to happen. Also, there is a gap which I've seen here in Nigeria. I'm not sure about the rest of West Africa or Africa. A gap when it comes to democracy and the academia. The academia is not just to research in different parts. The academia is supposed to also be a think tank and also an emotional, I think the best way to say it is a meeting ground for ideas. And that goes to debate culture. I think we need the academic institutions in the country, we need to foster a habit of debating. We have to create such town hall experiences in our schools. Voices need to be heard. Sometimes in Nigerian universities, they behave just like the government. They don't like dissenting voices. I deal with campus journalists a lot, and we have to intercede to make sure they do they get to practice the journalism they are being taught in their schools. So we need to create that atmosphere. The university is a microcosm of the society. We need to ensure that from our universities, they're building the country we want to see. Those are a couple of thoughts. Following also the points given to me in the invitation, I was also meant to give a few comments on the role of policymakers. I think the government has a role to play in sanitizing the environment, and I think in particular, the National Orientation Agency has a serious role to play in making sure people know from the top to the grassroots, especially because they have the greatest reach, that people understand how to consume information, get better media literacy, and how to deal with the new changes that we have to deal with. Now, to quickly jump into fact-checking and verification. First of all, verification is done before a story is out. Fact-checking is done after. Verification is what we expect every journalist to do. We expect that before any piece of news or information is published, it goes through a rigorous verification process. Journalism without verification isn't journalism. You have to verify and you have to be accurate. Fact-checking doesn't just deal with what is published on newspapers, it deals with what goes on social media, and we've had to adapt in our ways of handling different kind of information that we have. One of the basic rules, and I think this is to help everyone, the goal of this session is to make sure everybody here can deal with this kind of misinformation and disinformation that we come across every day, especially at times of emotional, heightened emotional issues, when people are emotionally charged and everyone is on edge. First of all, you have to be skeptical. You have to develop an inner skepticism. You have to take a disposition that until I can verify something, it isn't real to me. And the best and most basic thing and responsibility I have is not to share until I can verify. It's a simple principle that once we get more people to do it, and that's part of information literacy that we've been talking about, getting people to understand how to consume information and also understanding media literacy, which is basically how to consume the information brought out by news agencies. People don't know the difference between news and opinion, or a news and commenting journalism or columns. We need to teach people that. So make sure, first of all, that you know the source, you verify before you share. And we have some basic rules, sourcing rules in journalism. And the first, one of the basic ones is always to have multiple sources. Multiple sources are better than single sources. This is a general rule that we should all get more than one person to verify what you're trying to say. Secondly, you need to get primary sources. What are primary sources? Primary sources are basically the eyewitness, the person involved, the person who was there, not the person who got an account from someone else or who shared a post from someone else. Do you know the person who actually recorded this thing? It's easy to always find out if a person is a primary source or not. You just have to ask one or two questions, and that will expose it. Then you also need to note that you need to be wary of what we call assertive sources. That's people who speak with authority, even when they don't have the information. I could just come based on, oh, okay, a problem of Nigeria. I just lost power.
Oh,
okay. So basically, you have to be careful about assertive sources. They speak with authority. I can just come and say, believe me because I know what I'm saying. The government has done this, or I believe this is the statistical state of our economy and all that. And I speak assertively with gusto and charisma. And please always remember to take a step back and ask for evidence. Ask a few questions. Don't get pulled away. Then also be wary of self-interested sources. Try to get people's motivations. Is this person a player in? Is he a stakeholder on the issue, and where does he stand? It's better to speak to someone who is neutral to get a perspective and someone who is trained. Now, that's just about dealing with people, because we forget that we get information from people. So we have to understand how to deal with people. So now I'm going to talk about just dealing with content that we see online, and I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. So basically, I'm going to talk about dealing with multimedia content, which is what we have to deal with the most, while in cases like this, and we deal with images, videos, and audios. We need to be patient. I already said we have to have a critical mind, and we have to start with file. You can start with the properties of files, but even before that, you need to ask some red flag questions. The first thing is this: is the content original, or has it been scraped from previous reporting or reappropriated misleadingly? In other words, is this person retweeting? Is this person sharing? Is it a tweet, or is it an image of a tweet or a screen grab that has gone through maybe 7 people before it got to you? You have to understand, you have to find that primary source. First, you need to ask that question: is this original content that I'm coming across? Second, has it been digitally manipulated in any way? Okay, somebody is drawing lines. Okay, it's gone. Okay, has the content been digitally manipulated in some way? And you need tools to check stuff like that. Then you can try and confirm the time and place, and this requires personal commitment and effort. Just discernment. Look at a picture and look at it well. Most photoshopped pictures or edited pictures are obvious. You can see the edits, you can see the mistakes in it, because the people who spread, especially those who misinform and disinform, especially those who disinform, don't put as much effort as you would think in doing it, because they know virality is almost certain. So you have to be skeptical, look through the images, and be sure that this makes sense. There's disinformation across country lines. I saw a video talking about a clip of police brutality in Mali. And when I looked at the video, I immediately knew it was false, because the uniform that the so-called police were wearing were road safety uniforms in Nigeria. So you have to sometimes common sense is just your best protection. Then you can also try your best to confirm the time and place of the photo or the video capture using visual clues. If you are a resident or you know someone who is a resident, contact the person to ask if this picture shows the area that it's claiming to portray. Is this the front of Transcorp Hilton in Abuja, or is this the front of is this a picture of actually the Lekki toll gate? You live in Lagos. Can you confirm that this is actually in that environment? And if you can't, you go to Google. Google has what they call Google Maps, Google Streets. You can actually see street view, and if time permits me, I might show that. Then for visual things, we have wrong time, wrong place. These are common false or misleading visual content types. We have wrong time, wrong place. Old visuals that are being reshared, and we see this at times of conflict. You see a video of an old probably massacre, and they reshare it in every conflict that is happening. Anytime there is a discussion about brutality or violence, whether it be, no matter the stakeholders, you usually see a rehash of old videos coming up again. So please be wary about that. Virality is usually caused by accidental sharing. It's easy to debunk, but most times it spreads really quickly. So we need to teach people, like we're doing now, how to not share stuff like that. Manipulated content. Now, these are I've spoken about this before, and then there's state content. This is also quite common, and there's a very, very glaring example of that, which we encountered at Dubai during the NSAS protest. The Akwa Ibom, the NYSC stage play that was used to depict a picture of Lekki incidents, and we had to do a fact check on that and show people that no, this was actually a stage play. And it has happened so many times. We have seen, and internationally, we've seen scenes from movies that look so realistic, taken and reshared as actual incidents and actual things that happen. So we need to be wary of such content. Now, dealing with pictures, I'm just going to share two tools. First, I would advise that you go online and just Google what is called a reverse image search. A reverse image search is simply you going online and checking, using the online search engines to check for old similar pictures of the one you are trying to fact check. Once you search, if you can find similar pictures, you will see the date and you will know, okay, this isn't happening right now. This is old or this is edited. So there are a lot of tools for reverse image search. There's Google, almost every search engine has a reverse image search. Google, Bing, Yandex, they all have reverse image searches. There's also RevEye, then there's TinEye. TinEye is also a very, very good tool for reverse image searches. Let me go online. So just Google a reverse image search. You will see so many. TinEye is there, duplicate checker. So just, there's so many to use, and all you have to do is just click on it, upload whatever picture or whatever link to whatever picture you have, and it will help you check for older versions of that picture. And if you don't find any older versions of that picture, that means it's probably authentic. That doesn't mean it is verified. It just means you need to also do some other checks. But usually most of them, you find them through this means. The other way, like I mentioned, there's Google Maps. I think my time is almost up, but let me just do this last one. If you want to verify a location, let me type an obvious one like I've mentioned, Transcorp, Hilton, Abuja. You just go there and you go on Google, you can click on Maps. I hope this is showing well. If you click on Maps, you can see this red dot shows you where the hotel is. You can now switch to a satellite view at the lower left corner here. If you can see my mouse, clicked on the satellite view, and then it actually shows a realistic view of the surrounding. And then once you've done that, you go to the right corner and you see the icon of a guy, of an individual there, which means browse street view images. So you can click on that. Once you click on that, you see lines around the streets. Now, this is where I said you can try to use visual clues to verify. Just look at the street lines and click on any of the streets. And what it does is it shows you the perspective, the vantage point of where you click. So if they say something happened around Transcorp, just go to any street around it and click on it. And it gives you a 360 view of that street, of that point you clicked. So this is how it looks at the point where I clicked. And you can use this to compare with any image and see, okay, does this look like where this very scene of violence is happening? Or is this where this incident, is this where this protest is happening, to verify? Does it look like this? So this is a very, very quick way to check that. And you can do that. You can keep going around, clicking on different parts of the streets, different angles, and just looking at the view from there. So this is one way to verify images. And then finally, the last thing before I go is for videos, there is a tool called InVid. It's a plugin for your browser. All you need to do with InVid is install it or Google InVid and go to their website and use it to break down videos into screen grabs so that you can run a reverse image search on it. So that's the way to deal with video. I think I'm out of time, so this is where I would stop for now.